Welcome back to Wookies on X-Wing. My name is Matt.
I'm John.
And today we've got Game 2 of the third round of the Fredericton Gamezilla Store Championships.
So we have a returning list from what you had seen previous. That's Cory's list with the Falcon and Keyan. Cory's Falcon is Han with the Millennium Falcon title, Veteran Instincts, C-3PO, and R2-D2, so very fat Han there. Keyan's running Fire Control System, Push the Limit, the E1 modification, and Lando Calrissien. So, best friends list. I like it.
And his opponent is Dave, who's got a patrol leader with Vader and Rebel Captive. So, nice, versatile little Decimator. And mini TIE Swarm with Howlrunner and 3 Academy pilots.
I like it. It's very solid. It has a lot of flexibility. I mean, 4 TIE fighters is a force to be reckoned with. And the Decimator with Darth Vader there, pretty solid. I'm very interested to see how Cory's going to hold up to this, because Fat Han is really good with C-3PO against a low ship count list, but against such a high number of ships, he's not really getting as much out of his points from C-3PO.
No, it's cool. I like the idea of Dave's list. It just reminds you of an actual naval fleet. You've got your battleship or your cruiser with the destroyer escorts, so it should be cool.
Absolutely.
We'll see if he can capitalize on his numerical advantage. So you got a pretty reasonable asteroid deployment here. Just throw them in the middle of the board.
Yeah, all of the asteroids seem to be relatively close to each other, except for the one that's right near the Falcon. And I think that was intentionally done so Cory has some maneuverability. The middle of the board is going to be kind of difficult for any of the larger ships to maneuver through without losing their actions. The TIE fighters, I mean, they're fairly maneuverable. They should be able to maneuver around those asteroids if Dave's canny enough.
Yeah, you shouldn't have too much of a problem, especially with barrel roll to point you in the right direction the turn before if you don't think you're going to end up in a good spot.
So Dave did something fairly interesting here, and not something that I'm used to seeing from somebody who's flying a lot of TIE fighters, but understandable considering the Decimator, which is he immediately hard turned with all of his ships so that he's facing us right now. He's not using that huge amount of speed to his advantage right now.
Yeah, well, it's also, he doesn't really want to just go straight ahead from where he started, because then he would have to try to navigate the denser part of the asteroid field there.
Yeah.
At least this way he can he has the option to bank in and start the engage if he wants, or he can try to flank around towards the bottom edge of the map.
I think Dave's strategy should really get on taking out either one of the 2 ships, the Keyan or Han, right away, and then focus down the other one. I mean, focus firing is a very solid tactic. We've talked about this in previous videos. When you see Han, you see the fat Han, you try to get rid of him quickly. But I mean, here you kind of want to deal with Keyan.
Yeah, I don't know. In Dave's case, I think because he has the numerical advantage, maybe trying to just burn through the Falcon might be a good idea before he starts losing too many ships and just can't overcome 3PO.
Yes, that's a very solid tactic as well. I'm interested to see what Keyan can do against the Decimator.
Yeah. It's nice little formation flying, though. With Howlrunner, you want to have everybody in a nice little bubble to take advantage of your pilot ability as much as you can.
Well, for sure, especially since Howlrunner will be normally priority number 1 when it comes to what your opponent's trying to deal with.
Yeah.
The other thing that's kind of neat that will get around C-3PO's ability of devastation on the defense is the fact that Darth Vader's there.
Yeah, Cory definitely has something to worry about in the Decimator. He's got so much health to just fuel Vader's ability.
So, well, yeah. So, I mean, coming back to Dave's list, there's no right answer. Where, I mean, in Cory, there's not necessarily a right answer either. But whereas Cory has, if you fire at either of these 2 ships, that's a really good idea. Whereas with Dave's list, if you fire at the TIEs or you fire at the Decimator, you're firing at something that isn't the other thing.
Yeah. And the Decimator's got the captive on it, so you're just going to be stressing yourself out the first time you shoot at it. And you know, Falcon's got some nice green maneuvers, but he doesn't want to be stressed if he if he can help it.
What's kind of nice is that if you can afford to just fire at the Decimator with Keyan, that might be good, and use that, gaining the stress to his own advantage. But he fires at him, he gets the stress, he might be able to spend that.
It looks like looks like Cory's going to set Keyan up to try to either burn into the Decimator or swing around into the side and behind the ties on his next couple turns. And just running Han right into the teeth of it.
Cory's in a really good place to jam as well, which is kind of interesting. You're not used to seeing a Falcon jamming. You normally, when you're seeing a tie swarm, you're seeing the ties going actively to jam. But I think that is partially to do with the fact that Cory had the speed advantage. He was the one that wanted to commit first.
Cory's got his Falcon in a nice spot too. He's blocked a lot of landing positions between the two asteroids on either side of his Falcon.
Yeah, and none of those TIE fighters are going to really K-turn next turn anyway, but he completely eliminated that option from Dave.
So here we go. We got Han opening up. He used his pilot ability to re-roll and re-rolled into 3 hits.
So nice little opening salvo on one of them TIE fighters.
Good defense too, though. Oh, it takes a hit and a crit. So maybe not so good defense. But didn't completely one-shot an Academy, which is always a nice change.
Yeah, those direct hits are just so frustrating especially when they come out of nowhere.
Yeah. So we got Howlrunner going to be shooting back at Han. And looks like he uses 3PO to take no damage. Getting an edge of engagement shot with Keyan here. Now, it's unfortunate he can't focus on the damaged fighter already. But
you do what you can.
Yeah, no, for sure. Does Keyan have a laser cannon? Oh, he might do. We may have missed that. That was 4 attack dice.
That's interesting.
And a couple, 2 hits. So still a heavily damaged Academy, but not dead yet. We got the patrol leaders going to be shooting here. So we'll see who Dave decides to focus on.
Well, again, my advice has been fairly unilateral when it comes to this. Whatever you focus on it. Whenever you pick a target, just go for it and kill it right away. Don't play footsies with these lists.
No, for sure.
They'll mess you up.
Well, it looks like he went after Keyan with the patrol leader there. We got the nice little use of it with the patrol leader of Howlrunner's pilot ability to re-roll one of her dice. Now the swarm of Academy pilots' lasers.
Here they come.
Right, looks like there we go. We got some nice 2 potentials. Good show. Looks like the first salvo missed. Oh, okay. Taking another shot at Keyan there.
It wasn't a lot of hits, and it looks like he's splitting his fire out a bit. This could play right into Cory's hands. And he doesn't have a lot of places to go because TIE fighters have to move fairly quickly. They don't have a 1 forward as an example. So
yeah, you do have a very nice 1 sharp maneuver, but that's the only 1 maneuver they have.
I mean, and even if he blocks the Falcon, he's not really robbing him too much of his actions.
Yeah, because he's still got 3PO. He still has Han's pilot ability to reroll. You really don't want to be in the teeth of the Falcon.
Not for long.
Not a healthy position to be in.
Especially with Academy pilots. If you have somebody like, Jax or any of the really defensive Dark Curs, Night Beast, those kind of TIE fighters, they can survive a little bit longer than your average Joe Schmo Academy pilot, but that's just asking a lot, and that's asking for a beating.
Looks like David's decided he's gonna commit into Keyan and just ignore Han for the time being. So he's picked his target. See if it works out for him.
I hope it does. I mean, these two ship lists been in this current time, because of the Phantom meta, all of that kind of thing. They were very prevalent. So it's very interesting to see what a mini swarm with a Decimator can do, and it really comes down to knowing what this kind of rebel list can do and knowing how to combat it.
So we got some very close measuring. See if the Decimator can move past the TIE Fighter. And it looks like he just clears the base. Very close flying there.
I like it.
Very close. That was nice.
Smooth.
Gotta think that'd be a little unnerving being the TIE Fighter pilot. Having Decimator fly over top of you.
I think when you're a TIE Fighter pilot, everything's unnerving. It's kind of like you're just consigned to life.
It's just a given that this is going to scare the hell out of me.
If I survive, then I'm going to move on to something else, like, flying a shuttle, because that's safer.
Yeah, it's like, what does this do? Well, it's going to scare the hell out of me. Okay. Oh, poor Lando rolled there.
Yeah, that didn't do anything for him.
There's the... Lando bites you. He bites you hard.
Well, you gamble.
Usually.
Sometimes when you gamble, you lose.
Sometimes when you gamble, you lose your Falcon. So it looks like he's going to push and take a target lock here.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I mean, being pseudo-focused on the offense and being able to reroll your attack dice. It's a fairly good bet there's going to be some damage going into a Decimator.
Yeah, and I mean, for the most part, Keyan still, whenever he stresses himself out, he gets that stress, so he's not losing too much for not being able to get those actions from Lando. But it's still kind of sucky. Like, having a couple of extra evades would have been really nice.
Interesting, good flying by the Falcon. Interesting idea, though. Just assuming that the TIE Fighters are going to end up in front of you, so banking out away from them.
It's pretty much a given where those TIE Fighters are going to go. They were either going to go directly forward, or they were going to bank off, and that was probably the best thing that Dave could have done, other than or maybe banking the other direction. But Cory's move was very solid, getting out of the way, keeping his actions, and he's in a really good place to turn around next turn. He can still do a one hard maneuver and stay on the board and circle around those TIE Fighters, picking them off.
I'm a little surprised he didn't have Keyan try to target lock a TIE Fighter, just try to confirm the kill on one of the damaged ones.
I think he's going after the Decimator because the Decimator is not dodging at all. There's little variance. He already has that target lock on there from the fire control systems, and I think that the Decimator is the biggest threat to Han, and I think Cory knows that.
That's fair. Got some more damage coming out here, by the looks of it. Han shooting a TIE Fighter.
Yeah, those TIE Fighters are really squishy when coming up to Han.
Oh, range 1 Han, especially.
I mean, Cory doesn't have a gunner, which is, small blessings. It's the simple things in life,
Yeah.
but it's still rough.
Oh, it looks like the TIE Fighter actually dodged all of Han's shots. That was a lucky TIE. That was a very lucky TIE Fighter. Howlrunner taking her shots. And Keyan putting 4 damage. Yep, there he is. So there's the shields off the Decimator.
Brutal. And that target lock stays there due to fire control systems.
It's a lovely, lovely upgrade, that is.
Keyan's in a really good place to stay on him too. There's not many places that Dave can go to nullify Keyan's ability to do his 2K. because he has to move those TIE fighters before he moves the patrol leader, and the patrol leader is going to move before Keyan. So unless he goes directly and bumps into him, there's really not really many places that that patrol leader can go to stop Keyan from K-turning.
If he needs to, yeah. Keyan's still in a bit of a scary spot with all the TIE fighters looking at him, but there's still range 2 shots, range 2 or 3 shots at this point, so
yeah, and
it's not too bad.
And Han's gonna turn around in a second and help out a bit.
Looks like Dave may not have been rolling his Howlrunner reroll there. Bit of an unfortunate for forgotten play.
Well, it's one of those things that I don't think I've brought up before, but if I have, I'll bring it up again. When you're in a tournament, you're playing 2 to 3 turns, you know, especially when you're playing 5 ships, 4 of which are TIE fighters, that can be really mentally exhausting. You'll be really tired by the end of the day. If you haven't had a full meal, or sometimes even if you have had a full meal and your brain's too busy digesting, there's just so many different factors that can keep your mental fortitude at bay, and you just slip up and make those little easy mistakes, and those are the mistakes that your opponent wants to capitalize on.
No, I can understand that. Oh, he slightly overestimated the K-turn on one of his TIE fighters.
Yeah, and that's the TIE fighter that
damaged one.
Yeah, so he's gone.
That was pulled an Empire Strikes Back there, flew right into the asteroid.
Yeah. Not a good way for an Academy pilot to go.
Fair guess says the other academies are, or at least, yeah, that one's doing a 4K turn.
The other two,
sure if the other one might be doing a 5 or just trying to box Keyan in.
I think the other 2 will probably do 1 hard maneuvers.
Yeah, because one of them, the farthest one from us is Howlrunner.
Yeah, I mean, Howlrunner just wants to stay close.
Yeah, she wants to stay close to as many ships as she can.
Though I think a 4K might be able to clear it. It's very difficult to tell, especially on this angle. But I think...
To be fair, with forgetting pilot abilities, when I was first using Cory with the Star Viper pilot, I think I played 2 or 3 games with her. Didn't even remember what her pilot ability was for the whole time.
Well, she's just that good, right?
Yeah.
Who needs pilot abilities?
Look at it. It's like, playing a game. What is Cory's pilot ability? I don't know. I should look. Oh, I could have used this like 4 times already. Whoops.
It's okay, Matt.
So, okay, 1 hard turn. Maybe trying to... break off one of his ties. Get on the tail of Han.
I think it was more of I don't want to lose actions, because if you lose actions with a TIE fighter, it's a dead TIE fighter.
It is a dead TIE fighter. I believe that's the one that's already been hit. I think he's only got the 1 health left. So there it is. There's the 2K. Staying behind the Decimator and put some more firepower into him.
So this was not what I was expecting at all.
Now the interesting thing with Keyan, though, if he does shoot the Decimator, he's going to still end up having a stress token at the start of next turn.
That's not bad.
Because he can't attack twice, and he can only spend one stress token.
Yeah, the Rebel Captive is one of those neat stress generators that doesn't care if you already have stress.
Yeah, it's a nice. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. I can think of a lot of gifts like that. I don't want any of them.
No. Here we go. We got,
oh my god. Winter Championship?
the lovely ability of the Falcon to do a 1K turn.
As predicted by yours truly.
Terrifying maneuverability that ship has.
Well, and now I have the feeling that the Falcon's probably going to focus Howlrunner down. The last TIE fighter with that 1 hull is kind of nice, but...
Maybe you can ignore it for a turn. So here we go. Got Han. Oh, and a great Han Solo roll there.
Yeah.
You 3 bases on that roll though.
3 hits, just. Oh.
There goes Howlrunner. I think.
That was.
Oh, that was our last little TIE fighter.
Farlander's gonna die.
That's not an Academy pilot though. That was Howlrunner.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because there's still 2 Academy pilot cards on the table.
Yeah, Howlrunner's is below.
I have to fight for control. 4 dice.
You know, that was Howlrunner. She moved last.
Target lock.
I think.
Howlrunner's dead.
Oh, and
Well, I'm looking at the card and it's pilot skill 1 on the TIE fighter. I think Dave might have screwed up his order of operations when he was moving his TIE fighters.
It's possible. So here we go. We got Keyan spending one of his stress and putting a very scary 4 attack dice into the back of the Decimator. Keeps that up, he will kill that Decimator in 2 more turns.
No kidding.
That's 4 turn Decimator kill with 1 ship. That's impressive.
And it's not a Phantom.
No. That's kind of scary.
Keyan's brutal. He's our brutal psychopath.
We got Decimator shooting back at Keyan here. Oh, 3 hits. 3 confirmed hits. And that's Keyan toast.
We don't have to worry about Keyan anymore, but you gotta worry about that Falcon, and he only has 3 fighters left.
Dave's in he's in a rough spot.
Han can just make short work of those TIE fighters if Dave doesn't play them defensively.
Yeah, for sure.
But the problem is that you're trying to out-tank something that's tanky, and there's already a lot of damage on that Decimator.
Yeah, he's half gone already. Starting to get to the point where you have to be really careful about using Vader.
What I would do here, and that's unfortunate because, you know, at the same time there's not a lot of time left, you know, in these rounds, but what I would do is probably disengage and re-engage on my own terms. Now Dave didn't engage on his own terms. I think he playing a little slow sort of foiled him in that regard. He didn't get to choose his targets, and Cory got to pick which targets he was going to have to take, and force him to split his flyer. And now he's recovering from that, and now, you know, he's sending that TIE fighter in all by himself, and that's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, the TIE fighter, he might survive a turn, probably not going to survive 2.
If you want my advice from playing TIE Swarms, is always know when to disengage. It works in real-life aeronautical combat. It works in Star Wars. Don't get stuck in a fight that you can't win, and don't go in piecemeal. You've seen me do it,
Yeah.
and I know when I'm doing it. And it's mostly because I'm bloodthirsty, but
So that's, yeah.
that is a sight that no TIE fighter pilot should ever have to see.
Uh-oh.
A Carillion maneuver with a Falcon is not something you ever want to do.
No, and Dave's trying to bring his flying brick back around. That's a range 1 Falcon shot, and that is a lot of potential damage. It looks like that TIE fighter has an evade. So Dave can theoretically take nothing here.
But he rolls 3, almost, I think that's 3 blanks and he dies.
Well, he evaded one of them.
No, that was a
he's
focus.
burned his oh, he's gone. And that was the damaged one already, so he was... Yeah. He was gone anyway.
What he could have done is not spend the evade and just mill his damaged deck.
It's true. We've done that before. Get those direct hits out of the deck.
It's always risky though, because you could just be milling the not direct hits.
Yeah.
Dave is in a really rough spot.
Yeah, we've got a largely intact Falcon. I believe he has a point or 2 of damage on him. And an intact TIE fighter, for what it's worth. And a half-dead Decimator. So it looks like it's getting a little optimistic with his TIE fighter, hoping either to defend with the focus or maybe use it in attack.
I at this point in time, it's kind of one of those things that the TIE Fighter doesn't have very many places that it can go. I would have sent it right in the Falcon's way to block, because then that Academy pilot is not, and it would have been really easy for him to do, but that Academy pilot would not be in a position where it can get fired at range 1. The Falcon would lose an action, which means that the Decimator had a better chance of surviving the salvo that's coming towards him, because he wouldn't be able to fire at the Academy pilot. But
there we go. Almost flew onto a rock there. That was close. Should be able to clear it on his next turn. Oh, he definitely will with a 1 hard. But
yeah, preemptive barrel rolls are your friends, especially when you have TIE Fighters that are solo pilot skills.
Looks like he Han Solos the damage. And another 4 hits. Took a focus to do it, and that's a dead TIE Fighter.
Yep.
So one is still hit free.
That is a very dead TIE Fighter.
I am not surprised.
Fair guess now, looks like the writing is pretty much on the wall.
The Decimator doesn't have that much more life to it, and the Falcon not only can it outrun the Decimator, which is kind of a funny and horrifying thought, but it can just out-tank him. And yeah, he has crits that he can hand out, but now R2-D2 can just bring up those shields back up, so it's kind of too late in the game for Dave to start to pick off the Falcon.
And he doesn't really want to use Vader, because then he's
that much closer to
doing
dying.
Cory's work for him.
He's that much more closer to dying.
Looks like you got maybe a point through onto Han. And I think that's the biggest thing of, Keyan, he was a good target, but I still think just trying to gun down Han when you have all of your ships, overwhelm 3PO, just put as much damage as physically possible on him.
Well, the thing is, yeah, a lot of TIE Fighter pilot players, they look at the initial, they look at the alpha, they don't look at the end game. And the thing is, a TIE Fighter, while very weak, is very good at dogfighting. It's a space superiority fighter. You can dogfight with, if you have 2 TIE Fighters left, you can take out an X-Wing, you can take out a B-Wing. 2 TIE Fighters can't take out a Falcon.
No.
So you need to make sure, and Dave's giving up the game now, because he knows, he doesn't want to waste any more time, but you need to see, after I've traded all my pieces, what pieces do I need left over to win me the game? And unfortunately, when Cory made the choices for him, Dave lost the game.
Well, guys, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. It was some very interesting fleets, some nice flying.
Yeah, very, very much so. I was very interested to see the Falcon being played in such a way. Nice, big props to Cory there. And that's only because I lost a match to Dave in the earlier rounds, and I'm a little bitter about that. Screw you, Dave.
We love you, man.
Yeah, we do. Nice flying there, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this video just as much as we liked making it. Be sure to like and subscribe.
And you can check us out on Facebook. We're the Northern Gaming Network.
Or follow us at Twitter at NorthGameNet.
All right. Stay tuned, guys. We got more games coming.